It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of FreedomIn5Minutes.com and Prosulum.com, Prosulum.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this: you can never over-communicate with your clients. That and more coming up. We're here with the Lunameister. She just went and traversed some rocks. She just went and did number one somewhere in a bush, and she is happy as a clam. Oh, it's kind of a cool, nice, beautiful day this morning. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast, go check out Freedom in 5 Minutes on Google. Go to Google. I just had a brain fart. Go to Google, type in Freedom in 5 Minutes, and then your favorite podcast app, and subscribe. So it could be Apple Podcasts, it could be Stitcher, it could be Spotify, and a number of others. Go do that right now. All right, so the other day, actually, it was brought up to me by my general manager in November, around, I think, October, November time frame. And it finally got implemented the last few weeks. And what this thing is, because you're probably thinking, what the heck is he talking about? What was implemented was, Luna looks like she's gonna get something. She's hunting. She's like in hunting mode, sitting frozen. Maybe it's like a squirrel or something. Wonder what she's doing. Anyway, so all that being said, so what it was is my general manager wanted to create an incentive program for all of our VSAs. So essentially, if they did really well, they would get an additional percentage of bonus for the month. If they did not so well, then they would just basically stay the same. So it was kind of like a 3-tier bonus. So if they did well, if they did really well, they would get a bonus. If they did okay, then they would get a bonus. But if they did, if they did good, they get a bonus. But if they were just like run of the mill, then they would get no bonus. And this would happen every month. Well, part of this is sending out a form to all of my clients, asking for their feedback. And with the feedback on the form comes the fear that some clients are going to be like, they're going to be like, why are you talking to me? Like, why are you, I really, I have things to do. 2 is the fear of bad negative stuff coming back. And 3 is not even paying attention to the good stuff, right? Like a lot of times the bad stuff is what we don't like the pain. And so pain usually outweighs pleasure. And so in this case, it was that same type of thing. I was I was scared that this was going to happen. So I actually just said, yeah, dude, just go for it. This is your idea. I think it sounds great. Just do it. But when he sent those first emails, when my account manager sent those emails, my heart started racing. My heart started racing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to just ignore it. So in those situations, it's one of the reasons why I'm glad I have a team. In those situations, I literally just completely ignore the thing, like as much as I possibly can, because I get anxious. I start thinking like, did we do well? Do people like us? And so on and so forth. And it was cool because of it, we actually got a lot of good feedback. I hear my chickens. I thought it was one of my kids. We have one chicken. Her name is Bacher, and she balks. Yeah. So I usually am like ignoring. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. But we ended up getting good feedback. But it was interesting because 2 customers who I thought were extremely happy had reservations. One was they had a process that wasn't working really well, and so they were thinking about hiring someone in-house. So anyway, they were thinking about hiring someone in-house, and I'll tell you the resolution after this. The second was they had one of our VSAs, which I really am like, why did you guys even do this, guys? Why did you even set this schedule? But they have a VSA. They have someone working 7 days a week. 7 days a week, full time. So they work about 6 hours a day. And you might be thinking, well, it's not that bad. It's 6 hours a day. Think about your next day off is really a holiday. So you come off of like January, and you're like, your next holiday is not really going to be till February. So you're working for a month straight every day, right? And yes, they work from home, but still, it was like, and so they were like, hey, we're just wondering why things are kind of starting to decline or whatever. And I'm like, that's probably why. So, but it was 2 customers that I actually thought were extremely happy, but they had concerns. And those concerns would not have come to the forefront had it not been for that initial, communication with my guys saying, hey, do this survey. We want to see how everything's going, right? And so essentially we ended up saving 2 customers that would have otherwise left. And not only that, it allows us to better serve the customers, which then allows them to grow their business, which then allows them to get more VSAs, right? So this open communication, and that's one of the things I always stress. Like if I get negative thing, I always thank the customer. I'm like, hey, thanks for the open and honest communication. Like that's a huge thing, right? Is being honest and letting us know. Make sure there's some food in here. You guys got some food in there? Okay, good. Making sure that there's not this, because when you shut off communication, a lot of different. It's kind of like a sewer, like a sewer pipe leak or whatever. Eventually, it like right out the bat, it's not that big of a deal, but eventually, all that poo-poo is going to get all over the place and it's going to start smelling to the point where no one wants to be anywhere near that poo-poo leak, which if that's your business, if your business is a poo-poo leak, then they're going to run away as fast as possible. So, why is this important? It's important because the more open and honest you are with your customer, and the more that you communicate with them, and I'm not saying to communicate in the same way. You can communicate via group calls. You can communicate via telephone. You can communicate via email, Twitter, social media, all that other stuff. The more you communicate, the more you're going to see a huge benefit in your customer retention and how much your customers are willing to trust you even when things go bad, right? Because they don't want us to change. It's a pain in the butt to change. But if they don't trust that you're going to help them and solve their problems, then they have no need to change, right? They don't want to take that on. So with that being said, what's something right now with your customers or even your wife or whomever, are you openly communicating? Are you openly letting them know how you feel and then asking how they feel? It's a very, very important thing if you want to grow in your business and in other aspects of your life. All right, so this is Dean Soto, freedomin5minutes.com, and I will catch you on the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.